I'm Joe Chili, mornings 7 to 9 at Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Weck. Joining us on The Big Weck's Buffalo on the Rise today is Julie Snyder, the CEO of Forest Lawn Cemetery Group. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Joe. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you again, too. You know, we want to talk about some of the great things. I think that people sometimes don't think about, you know, the heritage there at Forest Lawn and what Forest Lawn really is. You know, they think in terms of, you know, it's a cemetery, but it's so much more. And I think that one of the things, you know, you've got an anniversary, I guess that's the way to put it, right? An anniversary celebration that's coming up too, right?
That's correct. So Forest Lawn is getting ready to begin our 175th year, founded in 1849. And you're right, people think of us as a cemetery, and we still are an active cemetery, plenty of room, but we also are a cultural landmark for our community. We have a really deep history, very robust tours, and just incredible art and architecture within those 269 acres in Buffalo. 269
acres. You know, one of the things you mentioned, we still have room. Is this a problem with cemeteries across the country now? They're running out of room?
Well, we are one of really 10 rural cemeteries that were founded between 175 and 185 years ago. And so a lot of people think about Forest Lawn and they're worried, are you sold out? And so I always make sure people know we do have plenty of room. But some cemeteries are full and they become more museums.
Oh, is that true? I never thought of it that way. But I can understand the whole museum standpoint because you have some famous people that are buried at Forest Lawn.
We certainly do. We have Millard Fillmore, President of the United States. We have many former members of Congress, including Shirley Chisholm. We have virtually all of the leaders of business and industry who really helped build Buffalo are buried at Forest Lawn. And famous people in the media, Stan Lipsey, former publisher of the Buffalo News, is buried at Forest Lawn. So we are a very inclusive cemetery, but there certainly are names that if you're from Western New York, you will certainly recognize if you visit Forest Lawn.
That's interesting. Are there different sections of the cemetery based on some of the people's history or notoriety?
Not based on history or notoriety, but cemeteries are laid out really quite thoughtfully to allow for the location of graves and for rows of graves and rows of headstones. And sometimes things move around a bit and people have very large monuments, but we have really an all-inclusive cemetery. We have a few sections at Forest Lawn that were sort of co-founded with local temples. And so those sections are for people that practice the Jewish faith. But from its founding, Forest Lawn was really an all-inclusive cemetery and remains to this day.
With summer here, are there special tours or events going on at Forest Lawn in the summer?
That's a great question, Joe. And actually, we were voted the best tour, the best of 716 as the best tour in Buffalo. And our trolley tours, our walking tours, our bird watching tours, nature walks, they are all really part of great offerings. So we want people to come to the cemetery, not just at a time of loss or sadness, but to really experience the acres and the landscapes that make up Forest Lawn.
You know, Julie, you've been CEO for 10 months. How do you prepare? I mean, you know, it's like, do you go from different, different positions, and how do you prepare for being the CEO of Forest Lawn Cemetery Group?
So there are certainly people, it's called the death care industry, and I came from healthcare, so there are quite a lot of jokes about going from cradle to grave that I've heard in the last 10 months. I would say that the best preparation is anyone who has a background or a desire to be of service to others. And that's really what our incredible team does every day, whether they're working the grounds or working with a family, making arrangements for an immediate need, or even making plans for future needs. So very much service oriented.
You know, you advertise in WECK as well, and you say, come home to Forest Lawn.
Yes.
What's the inspiration for that?
So Come Home to Forest Lawn is really an open invitation for people in Western New York to know that they can come and visit Forest Lawn at any time. But it certainly also has ties to someone at their time of passing. In some faith traditions, when someone dies, it is a homecoming. So we really wanted people to know that they can and should start planning today and thinking about what they want their final homecoming to be. And of course, now that I'm at Forest Lawn, I understand why 170,000 people are buried at Forest Lawn.
That's incredible. We talked about Forest Lawn Cemetery Group. We have about a minute left. Can you tell us about the other cemeteries in the group?
So there are 13 other cemeteries, and they're all over Erie County. Williamsville Cemetery, St. Matthews in West Seneca, Lakeside Cemetery in Hamburg, and many smaller cemeteries. Evergreen Lawn in Akron, Freedom Cemetery. We have a beautiful cemetery in Wyoming County. It is Forest Hill Cemetery, and it's in Attica, very historic space and place.
For more information and answers to your questions, contact Forest Lawn by calling 716-885-1600 or go to forest-lawn.com. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by the following.